right, so you have the butterfly. All right, so I drew a straight line through the butterfly, yeah? This is what we call a midline, or a medial plane. So just like in geometry, you have an x and a y axis and a plane, right, with the 4 quadrants. We are drawing 3-dimensional planes. So this one is a medial plane. So we have a medial plane. That's the first plane we're going to draw. This is symmetrical. I'm looking straight on an animal, and I'm cutting it in half. Not literally, the animal would decease. Okay, so medial plane is the exact center. This is going to allow me to have equal parts left and right side. Okay? When I'm talking equal parts left and right side, this middle line, guess what the middle line is called? It's called a midline. Okay? Super fancy. So this is the medial plane when I divide, so even halves is a medial plane, and then I have my midline is my center. Okay, so my midline is my center. When I go toward my center, and I go toward it, I'm going within proximity. Right? If I go towards something, I get closer to it. So you're within somebody's bubble, you're getting in their proximity. So then this, toward my midline, is proximal. Toward my midline is proximal. The opposite of that, though, same color, okay? If I'm going to go away, what am I doing if I'm going away from you? What do I create between us? Distance, right? Yeah, I'm going to create distance. So I'm going away from you. I'm going away from the center. I create distance. So I'm distal. Oh, look, Miss Leslie decided not to show. I'm distal. I go away. I'm creating a distance. So my fingers are distal from my midline, right? But my elbow is proximal compared to my fingers. My ears are distal to my midline, but my nose is proximal because it's in near the center. We use proximal and distal when we talk about bones. So if I have a distal aspect of my bone, I have the part of my bone that's farther away from that center. The proximal aspect is the aspect of the bone that's closer to my center. That's when you're going to see that distal and proximal used a lot. All right, so that's, boom, that's our medial plane. And that creates a midline within your body. Up, down, sideways, good? Uh-oh, am I breaking, Heather? Okay. Okay, good. All right, so now we've got, what color should I draw Harry? Should Harry be black, purple, green, red, orange? Harry's going to be whatever comes out of this board. Okay. Green. Okay. Harry's going to be green. All right, this is what you're going to do on your board because we're going to draw a sideways animal, okay? So, this is going to be Harry. For some reason, Harry's head always faces to the left. That's just how I draw. All right, so I'm going to draw a parallel body. okay? This is his torso. If you can draw a sideways dog, by all means, have at it. This is how Miss Alessi's inability to draw things works. So I draw this. Now I'm going to draw his tail. I know his tail comes up this way. Okay, that's going to be Harry's tail. Now Harry's got to have a butt. That's Harry's butt. Now Harry needs some legs. So his legs are right here. If I want to get extra, I can give him like two-dimensional legs. I just make rectangles. Okay. Now I'm going to come up here. He needs some front legs. So I'm going to give Harry some front legs. I don't ask you about that front leg. I don't know what happened to him. Harry had a little accident. He's a little swollen right now, okay? All right, so now I'm going to come up and I'm going to give Harry a neck. Uh-huh. All right, so it's going to come this way, and then it's going to come this way. And just pair them in lines. Oh, it's Harry. I got nothing for you. Okay, so Harry needs an ear. He's going to have a weird floppy ear. And then he needs a head. There's Harry's head. He's got a nose, and he's got an eye. Yeah, because I'm sideways view. That's Harry. So see, by all means, this is why I do this, right? Yours cannot look any worse than mine. And if it does, then by all means, you can call it Harry number 2. All right, so we have Harry. All right, we're going to cut Harry into 2 different planes. All right, so we are going to give us an y-axis. We're going to go up and down. So we're going to cut Harry into a front side and a back side. So this is going to be called my transverse plane. Do not start packing up or nothing. Okay. So this is going to be my transverse plane. This cuts Harry into a front side and a back side. Front side. Not just a front side and a back side, but like, yeah, we'll do a front and a back. Okay. Now already, I use the word back. Is that very, like, what do you think of when you hear the word back? Do you think of a back? Or do you think of a back? Back. Or like, look. There's 2 ways, right? So already if I say, hey, let's put the animal on its back, I got nothing. All right, so, huh? It does depend on context, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take away the need for the context. So transverse plane runs front and back. So the front of my animal is what? What is that right there? Head, okay? So when I am toward the head, I'm cranial. What is this part? What's the thing that wags? Tail. So when I'm toward the tail, I'm caudal. Those of you that know your fish anatomy, I have a caudal fin. It's my back tail fin, right? That's why it's called a caudal fin. It's your tail fin. So when I go toward my tail, I'm going caudally. I'm caudal. All right, so that's my transverse plane. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to cut Harry again. I'm going to cut him into a top and a bottom. Okay? So I'm going to cut him into a top and a bottom. This is called my dorsal plane. It's called my dorsal plane. So my dorsal plane, I have two pieces, right? I have my top and my bottom. The bottom, what's the bottom? What is this bottom part? What do I call this? The stomach, right? Okay, the tummy, the belly. So this is my bottom of my animal. And this is what we call ventral. So if I'm underneath, it's the underneath, the bottom or the underneath. Ventral, my ventral side. What's that called? My back? What's my back? Think dolphins. What do dolphins have on their back? Dorsal fin. So the back, or the spine, right? Because I can also call my butt my back. The spine part is your dorsal. So dorsal is the spine. Okay. Then we have, more in human, we use this. The front side of something, we call the anterior. You guys need to be at the bus at 50, right? Okay, this is the last one. The back side is posterior. Okay. Know of anybody that's older or walks a lot for their job, they're going to say they've got something called plantar fasciitis. You guys heard of that before? No, it's an old person thing. I think I got it when I was like 25. It's really not an old person thing, but it's something that when you walk a lot, you end up getting it. So that might help us. So when we talk about plantar, what do we, with our feet, we do what with our feet? We plant them into the ground and we stop, right? So the bottom side of my foot is plantar. So it's the bottom of the paw that is at, I'm not even going to say paw, bottom of the hind limb. Yes, thank you. So plantar is the bottom of my hind limb. What do you call this? Your palm, right? So the bottom of my forelimb, because this is what your arm is a forelimb, that is palmar. Have a great weekend, guys. Okay. So plantar is the bottom of your hind limbs. Palmar is the bottom of your forelimb. We use this, especially the plantar palmar, when we take x-rays. That's when that becomes important to know, is when we're doing x-rays.